Hi, my creepies. How are you today? Today we're going to be discussing the true crime case that inspired the movie River's Edge by Tim Hunter. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz and this is Creating Crime Time, where I'm your host. I sit down and I talk about some true crime. So, I highly suggest you hit that subscribe button, turn your bell notification on all. That way you know whenever I upload. And today's true crime case, we're going to be talking about the death of Marcy Renee Conrad. Now, this true crime case really gained national attention. Now, the reason for this is because Marcy Renee Conrad was 14 at the time of her murder. She was raped and killed by her 16-year-old boyfriend, Anthony Jacques Broussard. Now, this murder happened in his father's home in Milpitas, California on the 3rd of November of 1981. Now, like I said, this murder gained national attention due to her age and the age of Anthony Broussard. This crime forced California to reevaluate the way that they they treat statutes regarding juveniles sentenced to violent crimes and violent offenses. This case also triggered media coverage that was widespread, as it made an example of the social disaffection in youth, especially in suburban neighborhoods. So, obviously, like I already mentioned, this murder is what inspired River's Edge by Tim Hunter. So, Anthony Broussard often went by his middle name, Jacques. And he did not have a good upbringing. We'll just say that. He had found his mother deceased in the shower when he was a young child. Friends close to him say that he was kind of strange, just a bit strange, in that he was emotionally disturbed. But they considered him harmless despite his massive size. Now, he was a big dude. He was 6'4" and he was 280 pounds at the time of the murder. That's pretty big for a 16-year-old boy. So, on the 3rd of November of 1981, this is when Marcy, now she's a 9th grader at Russell Junior High School. She skips her afternoon classes because she wants to meet up with her boyfriend, Anthony Jacques Broussard, who's 16, and he goes to Milpitas High School. Now, what he did to her was anything but harmless on that day. Anything but harmless. So, what he did is he took her back to his father's house, where he then raped her and strangled her on the couch in his father's home. So when Anthony was finally questioned about the murder, he stated that he was on LSD and that Marcy had a tendency to mouth off. He stated that she was on his lap, and basically what he also said happened is that he grabbed her and then she was dead. But that's not all that he did. He raped her. He strangled her, raped her and strangled her. He then took her corpse, drove into the hills, where he then dumped her half-naked corpse into a tree-lined ravine. This ravine is actually near a popular Lover's Lane area, where, obviously, if you don't know what a Lover's Lane is, basically it means that people meet up and they're going to have sex there, or they're gonna hook up. We're just gonna say they're gonna hook up. So the day after the murder, the 4th of November of 1981, he boasts to his friends that he killed Marcy. And this is when they were hanging out in the parking lot of an arcade. Now, when he spoke about this, his friends thought he was joking at first, but he wasn't joking. So Broussard then took them to see her body. Some of them would take sticks and they would poke the body to, see if it was a mannequin or not, and none of these friends told the cops about her either. So this group of friends were rockers or stoners, not to label them, but that's what they were known as in the 80s. And they typically weren't going to tell on Broussard, even though one of them also used to date Marcy as well. So these friends then decided to tell more friends about what happened, and then one of his friends later stated that Jacques is a partner of mine and that he needs help. He's gone wacko and that he would never tell on him. So eventually this literally became a circus show to see Marcy's body. The teens would pile into cars to go see her dead body. Her ex-boyfriend, one of her ex-boyfriends that was there. So obviously we have Anthony. We're just going to count him as ex-boyfriend number 1 because, you know, he killed her. And then ex-boyfriend number 2 brought his 8-year-old brother along to see her body. Lovely. So one girl that saw her body went to the lengths of stealing a patch off of her coat that she had, and it had the logo of either KSJO or KOME. These were 2 hard rock stations at the time. Another one of the teens covered her body with leaves to help Broussard hide the evidence. So these teens were like congregating around the body for about 2 days' time before anybody said anything. Now, this is what started a media firestorm that influenced what's called hot takes. And the sergeant at the time, Sergeant Gary Meeker, told the Washington Post that he had never seen a group of people act so callous about a death in his 15 years of work. 15 years, he has never seen people act the way that they did towards a human corpse. So the media ultimately blamed this crime on moral decline, weed, heavy metal in the 1960s, and TV for the way that teens acted, specifically the indifference towards Marcy's body and her murder. Now, race was never brought up in this, and it was never blamed. Anthony Broussard was an African-American 16-year-old boy. Marcy Conrad was a 14-year-old, blonde-haired, blue-eyed teenage girl. Race was never brought up in this. I'm honestly quite shocked that it wasn't, because, I mean, that's typically a thing. When they see a white girl murdered, they automatically assume that it is somebody of another race. And that sounds very hateful of me to say, but it is very true. Very true. Anywho, so all of his friends kept their mouths shut because they were Caucasian as well. So I think maybe that's another reason why they never brought race into it, is because all of the people that also saw her body weren't gonna talk, and they just were like, oh, okay, everything else is the reason why this is happening. We're not gonna blame it on the race card today. So as it turns out, many of the teens stayed quiet because they were literally petrified. They did not want to get blamed for a murder. So for some, it took a while to set in that their friend killed somebody. And one of the teens said that they had visions of Marcy's corpse and that it haunted him. Specifically, he had visions of her corpse while he was in school because it literally terrified him. It was 2 days after she died. So on the 6th of November, 1981, is when 16-year-old Dave Leffler and 18-year-old Mike Irvin finally notified the police of Marcy. And when they asked the Milpitas students about why they didn't notify anybody, they simply just stated they didn't want to get in trouble. And these boys, Dave and Mike, were seen as heroes because they finally brought Anthony Broussard to justice. Now, it was decided in a December 15th hearing in 1981 that Anthony Broussard would be tried as an adult. He was sentenced to life in prison due to the brutality and of how harsh the crime was that was committed against Marcy. Now, this is what sparked a trend in the juvenile justice system of trying teens as adults for harsher crimes. So one of his friends as well got 3 years for covering up the body. I'm pretty sure that was the one that covered up the body with leaves. Because, I mean, technically it's like concealing of evidence and stuff like that. So about 6 years after this is when River's Edge is released. And this movie literally left a sour taste in the mouths of the citizens of Milpitas. Marcy's best friend, her name is Terry Denny, said that this movie never should have been made because of how it struck a nerve and how it the citizens of this town felt afterwards after this movie came out. So in 1985, Broussard was denied a new trial. He is serving out his sentence in a state prison in Soledad, but as of January 2020, he is in a state prison in Solano. He has been denied parole several times due to the severity of this case. But that, my friends, is a true crime case in the death of Marcy Renee Conrad at the hands of Anthony Jacques Broussard. So again, I hope you guys have a lovely day. I hope you enjoyed this true crime case. Don't forget to hit that like button and turn your bell notification on to all if you're a subscriber. If you aren't subscribed, I highly recommend you to subscribe and turn that bell notification on to all, because I upload 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys have a great day, and I have an announcement coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. Bye, guys.